I guess if I go live, I should put myself on stage, right? Is that how it's supposed to work? What's up, people? Get a little bit of snow this evening. I don't think this will be much of anything. No accumulations anyway. That brisket NBL, Scotty, you talking about? What's up, Demoose? Is that the one I saw? Something about cook for days, or I can't remember. Oh, here I go already. So as you can tell, Simon is not going to be around for a little while. And yep. So we've got Google to probably be along a little bit, but he's got data details first. Salvador, Sal said he would come up here. He's, I guess, fashionably late, but we're gonna try to make it work. Still got 8:05. He's still in the picture. He's just doing the new life with this new young lady. But he actually posted in the chat the other night that he's still around. He's still in the house, but he's got to just do some get things together to where I guess they're both happy, him and her both, but I'm not sure. Low and slow 4 hours, hot and fast 300. Okay, hell of a 24 hour. Yeah, I saw a couple videos. Hot dang, man, doing it again. I think Zach put out a video. It was a long cook for a brisket. And I was thinking yours was too, but didn't know if I was getting them mixed up. What else is new? That's really about it. What's up, Keith? I don't know if y'all seen those pork belly ribs that CJ, Mom and Papa Joe did. Man, them things are awesome. I mean, awesome. When he took the lid off that kettle, and Alicia beat me to it with the wow, I was like, oh my God, those things look fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. What's up, Christopher? That's about it. I was going to do a cook today, but the weather, I said, I ain't going to mess with it. I had to go to the store, get stuff. I got two cars acting a little silly, and I just decided it wasn't worth it. Wasn't going to cook. So what's going to do there, Sal? Salvador?
Hello, fans. How are ya?
All right.
Every time I log on StreamYard, it asks me a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
I don't do it often enough to, I guess, remember what I did.
I saw one. I watched it live today in the aquarium side of YouTube, fish tanks and all that. It was called, I should have wrote it down, Eastream or something like that. I think it was called Eastream.
Yeah.
And that looked like it ran pretty smooth. A lot of the same differences as far as appearance wise. Now it did say Eastream up where it says Sleeper Barbecue right now, so I don't know if that was something that you can overcome.
Yeah, I'm sure you could. There's a bunch of dots in my face. Better get over here.
Sun coming through the blinds.
Yeah. But I'm sure you could remove it. Like most of these software, they get you in the door for free, and then once you settled, you agree that you like the app, then they'll do little things like that, like having your little logo up there.
Well, that's what this was. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm assuming it was anyway, but it looked just like. I mean, it behaved just like StreamYard from what I was seeing. First time
Yeah.
I've actually sat there and watched it for over an hour, and I saw her. What's up, Des? I saw her like flipping through, like changing people on her panel and
Hmm.
sharing. screen and stuff like that. And it was like, to me, it looked like it was pretty much, operating the same way for the most part. But
Yeah, yeah.
I'll,
I think they all do the same thing. It's just little quirks here and there, and it's really what you're most comfortable with too. Like
yeah,
if you're used to StreamYard, it's probably going to take you a little while for you to use another one until you figure out how to do things.
yeah. I think,
Some of them out there, they're pretty limited. They're how many people you could have up. The comment section. Sometimes it's a little harder. The multiple streams. I know a lot of people like to stream to YouTube, Facebook, and whatever other thing they want to get on.
yeah.
So
I know
those are the
Tom,
little things.
Tom Garvey, uh, Sunday night, and then the Keto Cook guy, and then who's God, who's the other one?
There's Mike.
Grumpus. Grumpus. They're using something called Edimux or something like that.
Oh, I never heard of that one.
I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but
Yeah.
they're really liking it. Grumpus said,
Yeah.
same thing I was saying. The icon couldn't
Yeah.
really seem to get rid of it unless you paid for a subscription.
Oh, okay.
But
I think for what you guys are doing here, we really don't need all the extra.
I don't need all the bells and whistles. I told Simon the other day because I think his paid subscription. This is free for me. I went to the free once they started jacking it up to whatever they were, some astronomical amount. I don't even remember what it was. I just told him back in October, to cancel my subscription, but to put me back on free, and they did so. I didn't have to do anything, but other than send them an email. But
Yeah, I think any of these options for what us barbecuers do, which is really not much. We talk, we could read the chat, answer people's questions, bring on a guest, and as long as it's easy for them to connect, that's really what we want, right? Just
yeah,
you're not doing multiple streams, so that's you don't care whether you're streaming to YouTube and Facebook at the same time. So
right.
you
No,
know,
I don't need all that fancy stuff. It's just
it's cool that you got your own little background here. That's nice, and having
that's
your logo.
Simon's. Simon
Oh,
put
okay.
that up. Yeah, Simon put that up. I just bring it down and use it. What's up, Dutch? I just use it on this channel too, but
Yeah.
it's like having a Cadillac. The more you get on there, the more you can break, and then the more money you're putting out for it. So
It's just one of the. I think the people that are really into streaming, they have to have a reason to justify the extra cost. Either they're making enough money through the stream itself, or enough money on their channel, or somehow some way they're the money they put in they're getting back, or
you're Annie.
and there's Annie again with her cough.
I hear her coughing every
I wish StreamYard had a cough filter.
I feel sorry for her. Every time it seems like I hear her in the background, she's coughing or she's sick or
Yeah, like I told you,
got caught by a possible or bit or scratched by a possible rabid cat or
it's such a weird thing with her because she's not sick. Like you would think, like, oh yeah, poor Annie, she has a cold, but no, it's just she gets a cold or something, and then she gets over it, but that cough which is just there. And she's not to put all of Annie's health stuff out there for people to hear about, but it's she's gone through the motions, going to doctors and gotten medicine, and none of it seems to work. So there's nothing like serious. There's no like asthma issues. There's no like bronchitis or anything like that would need immediate attention. So I guess those are all good things.
Have you thought about like an air purifier maybe?
Yeah, we have.
Something?
It's something to look into. I mean, we tried everything, so that's probably the next step is just to get a one of those HEPA filters and just it's funny you mentioned that because one of my closest friends, we hanged out yesterday. He came over and he bought a one of those air testers. So he bought it because he lives in an area which was affected by the fires, and he bought this thing to check the quality of his air. And he brought it over, and he's like, the first thing he was like coming around our house is like, oh, let me inspect this place. And he's just like, it's like a little, I don't know what the exact name of it is, but it's like a little gauge, and it tells you like, the air is safe, or it's good quality, or it's or it's hazardous. So it was kind of cool little gadget that he bought. I think he paid like $80 or something for it.
Yeah.
But he was going around the house, and just measuring the air quality in our house and making sure everything was good.
Right.
The first thing I asked him is like, have you farted on it? Because that's the very first thing I would do. I would just like, put the meter, on my ass and just fart on it, see if it, the meter.
High in methane gas, Sal. You might want to look at that methane gas. Now, I was also just wondering when you were talking about that, about the cat dander. What's up, Quentin? What's up, Russ? About the like a cat dander or something.
Yeah, but it's also strange because it comes and goes away. Like she's fine. That cough just lingers for a couple of weeks, and then it's gone, and then that's it. So and we don't do anything different. It's not like we have better air,
Right.
But yeah, I'll definitely look into that, getting one of those filters, because I think that's good overall. Even if it doesn't do anything to clear her up, it's still nice for everybody else. You get nice, clean, purified air in here. Because sorry if I didn't say anybody hi to the chat. I just quickly jumped on here. I was struggling to connect myself to the StreamYard thing, and I had to figure out what my password was. It was a process. So hi, chat.
You're getting picked on.
Ken over there. I saw Ken's earlier. He says that I look different. Simon looks differently.
Yeah.
Yes.
I see Russ was talking about snow. We had it's already stopped. We got like just an inch of snow tonight.
Yeah.
If that. Just making American great again. One Mexican at a time. What's up, Troy B? Question for the Texans in the chat. It sounds like last I heard they were getting snow. Possibility. I think it's Tuesday.
I've been so focused in on these, the stuff that's going on in California. I know there was this huge snowstorm just going to take over the entire country. Is that over? Or are there people still dealing with that? Because I was watching the Eagles game earlier on. It started pouring there. It was made for an exciting game over Philadelphia.
And snow?
Yeah, it started snowing. Like it was clear at first at the beginning of the game, and then it just snowed. Yeah. And then by the end of the game, it's coming down.
Yeah, it was coming down here pretty good for a while, but like I say it stopped maybe an hour ago, I guess.
Okay. So I guess it was just like last week, last 2 weeks or so.
Oh, so it looks like San Antonio is going to get rain now instead of snow.
Okay.
I wish y'all get some snow out there in Texas. It'd be fun, Cleanse the air. Everything's white and pretty for about a half a day. Then it starts getting melted and mucky and muddy and nasty looking.
Yeah, it's like we could use a little. We could use a little rain over here too. Hasn't rained. I think the last thing that I heard was it hasn't rained since October here. So everything's just dry. And this was coming from, I don't know if you remember last year, we were all complaining that the rain wasn't stopping. It around this time last year there was like no breaks in rain, and I had to go film out there in the rain on one of my videos, which is I thought it was kind of cool.
Right?
I cooked the tri-tip out there when it was pouring, but
No
yeah,
rain since October.
no rain since October.
Land sakes.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. Yeah,
What
then if we had rainy weather like last year, then you make it a point where these fires probably wouldn't have happened, because
yeah.
it'd just be too wet for anything really to catch.
Like the Diablo got the same. Yeah, my daughter and her son have it. Have what? Cold weather?
School on
Yeah, we're
Wednesday.
supposed to
Yeah,
be really cold the next few days. In the evenings, it's supposed to be like 9 degrees. That's not consider any wind chills or anything. Just 9 degrees. That's pretty crazy.
yeah.
Been sick. Okay.
So were you excited? You're a Washington fan, right? Were you excited that they won yesterday?
Yeah,
I don't want
man.
to
Yeah,
infiltrate
man.
beach football,
Actually,
but
actually, today I was sitting here. I was wishing my mother-in-law was still alive. She was a huge Washington Redskins fan. I
yeah,
mean, huge. And it would be great for her to see that again. Be able to play part of it here on Earth. So
yeah.
um, it is. She's still seeing it. She knows all about it. What's
Yeah,
up, Hojo?
that was yeah, we were again, I hanged out with my friend yesterday. We went to a bar, and we caught the end of that game into the Chiefs game. So we were like, damn, the Washington just pulled an upset. I feel bad for the Lions because I really thought it was like, after all these decades of them just being absolutely terrible, I thought this might be their year, but I guess not. Just I think Washington has a good team, and they also they deserve that opportunity too, because it's been a while since they went all the way too. So
Budget Bonsai. This is a guy from the fishing community, from the aquarium community. He actually used to go by another name. I can't think of what it was now. That's what happens when you turn 65. But I need to check out his channel some. But surprised to see him in here. But I'm grateful for it. Thank you, sir. Let's get better. Is Des still sick?
hey,
I thought she was feeling better week before last.
yeah, she's got that prolonging stuff, like you're over it, but you're not really over it. It's just kind of
Yeah,
it's just there with you. Yeah.
I can imagine. They got the plow trucks out here. I just heard another one go by.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it's, to me, it's 30 degrees, but the roads were, oh, okay. Because I didn't see, was it Wednesday or Friday? Unless I missed it, I didn't see no alerts for you live.
I saw a community post from her saying that she wasn't going to go live because she was feeling sick.
Okay.
Yeah. But I could be mistaken. Sometimes I'm drinking a little bit too much, Lance, and I don't
Yeah.
know what to read. I don't know if it's my imagination or
Yeah.
weekends are sometimes kind of a blur.
Budget Bonsai, if you could put Sleeper or 805 in the chat, your channel link will pop up. Uh-oh. Did I lose the chat? Nope. Shoo.
Let's see if I could go on the.
So it sounds like they've got them fires a little bit more under control there.
I was just reading up on that. I was just talking to to my wife about that, and it's the big fire is 50% contained, and so that's a very good thing. So it's not spreading. It's pretty much under control. It's just that means that they're out there fighting hot spots. It's not raging. It's not out of control like it was. So those are all good news. It's just
Thankfully, the winds, you didn't get the winds that they were.
yeah.
Just
So there
this week.
was yeah, there was big winds on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, but not as bad as what started them all. And there's supposed to be more this coming week, but I think it shouldn't be. I don't think there should be anything too bad. Again, got to knock on wood because you just don't know, But I think those are all good things. That it's about 50% contained. The big fire. The other one's the second big fire is 100% contained. So that one was under control, and that one's the one that affected a lot of people because there was no warnings for that one. It just kind of came in fast, and a lot of people weren't able to get out of there on time or grab the stuff that they needed. The Palisades one, which was the first one, they had a little bit of a kind of a heads up, like, hey, you guys got to leave.
Yeah. Well, they were saying something about, I guess, the insurance companies are basically giving them the monies that the property is worth, but all the upgrades that the state is requiring now, it's not covering any of that. But what I had a curiosity about, so let's say you and I owned property next door to each other. I was hearing something about they were talking about they want more space between the homes. So if what happens? I mean, if there's 3 homes that build before us, and it gets down to you and me, and you build your house before I do, and then there's not enough land for me to build my house. How does that work? I don't get that.
Yeah, I don't know. I would think they would draw up the lines themselves, so we're not, we don't become enemies. We're not, duking it out for where we draw the line.
Right.
I would imagine that would be the case, but that's it. I haven't heard that one. I haven't heard that the fact that they want more space between the houses, because you really think about it, how far do you need to go to be safer? I think the distance of the houses wasn't the issue as much as just the winds, like those embers, as soon as that wind hit the ember, like, how could you say, how far, what the distance should be to the next house so that property doesn't catch on fire. Seems a little.
Yeah, it didn't say the reason why. I was just assuming that it might be, that if there's a fire, if you and I are beside each other, maybe you had this raging fire, that there's less likely of a chance that it would spread over to my home. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it gives them room to, get between the homes. I have no idea.
Yeah, I haven't heard that one. I really can't say one way or the other.
Don't know.
But yeah,
I'm glad I'm not into it. I'm sorry to those people that were involved in it. I mean, that would just be devastating, just to absolutely everything.
I mean, we could all picture ourselves in that moment where, we have to all of a sudden just leave. What do you take?
What was it? Katrina. I mean, look at that in Louisiana. A
lot of us. Hopefully people learn. It might not be a fire, but it could be anything where you just have to evacuate really quickly. And it's a good thing to think about, what would you take, like just having everything just kind of, I don't want to say like packed up and ready to go, because I think that's the extreme version of it. You don't want to live your life in fear either, but just have a plan, just you could quickly get your documents, just everything just loaded up quickly.
I saw something going around where they were saying that to be prepared for something like that, then there's like a checkoff list. Things that you should have, like you say, prepared.
Yeah, Yeah, and it's like I said, it's not necessarily a fire, but a lot of countries have hurricane. A lot of states have hurricanes, have tornadoes. Who knows? Who knows what it could be where you just need to leave the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Don't get me started. Yeah, I know. Russ went through it all.
yeah.
He actually
And,
had to relocate.
people that went through Katrina know that the actual, I lived through two earthquakes, and yes, the actual natural disaster, or whatever you want to call it, is a big deal, but the aftermath, that's what's like, how do you need to get where do you live in the meantime? Where do how long can you go back if your place survived? And what's that going to do? If you got kids in school, what does that do to them?
Sure.
There's just a long list of things. If you're lucky, one of those lucky people that have insurance, well, how long does it take you to get your money, and how soon can you rebuild? And it's just a long list, big process. So it's just the beginning. Unfortunately, it is really the beginning of
Yeah.
it's just a
I
big
think
pain in the
Des,
butt.
I think Des was saying something last week about. I think it was Des saying something about the insurance companies were pulling coverages.
Yeah, I heard that, but I also heard that they kind of backed off on that.
Okay.
So what they initially is they did take the insurance off these properties, but they wanted to do well and say, okay, if we pulled your insurance policy, we're still going to cover you.
Yeah.
It's only those people that cancel their insurance or never had fire insurance, they're the ones that are out of luck. But I think that's not ideal for them, but I feel that that's fair. Like if you've never felt the need to get insurance, or you canceled it a long time ago, then you know then it's unfortunately that you kind of have to cover your own cost on that.
Yeah.
But I think that's the last thing I heard is insurance companies, the ones that they did pull from a few weeks ago, they're making it right. They are
Yeah.
they are covering them.
That's good. This would be a good idea right here, actually. Making sure that kettle, hopefully you have a small little travel one that you could carry around, not the big full
It,
size 32-inch
it,
or
it,
30
and
some inch.
and that always makes up for a good conversation, right? Which grill would I pick? Let's take it back into the barbecue conversation of
Yes,
which grill
yes.
would I take? And I say I would take that travel kettle, because that
Oh,
thing
I
is
would
just
for sure, man. I love my cat, my
yeah,
kettle. If I didn't have a small one, I would still find a way to bring that a
yeah,
22-inch around with me because I just you could do anything you want with it,
yeah, yeah. It's like I would love to take like my Weber Smoky Mountain, or my Slow and Sear Master Kettle, but I think those are too heavy. These where would
Yeah,
they fit?
right.
I don't have a big truck to carry all my grills, so it would just be a matter of I'm taking my little grill with me.
No, I would too. I mean, you could do so much with it. I mean, you could have breakfast, you could have meat, you could smoke something, you could
Yeah,
burn something, whatever you want to do. As
yeah,
long as you're able to get something, to cook.
yeah.
But
As long as I survive, I'll be able to cook up a little celebrate with a steak or something, some burgers.
and a fishing pole.
Yeah,
Fishing pole would be nice. And catch
yeah.
dinner.
Catch dinner and you're good. Yeah.
So that would be fun. Take you back to the Flintstone era
Yeah. Yeah.
with a
Okay.
little with
Have
a
you
little
cooked
bit of updates.
have you cooked one of those, like those they call them the Flintstone steaks? I don't know. I think it's I want to see it's the hind legs or something that they you know what I'm talking about, Lance? The Flintstone steak. It's like a big piece of steak and then it has a bone
Yeah,
right there. It's just
yeah.
and I think that's on the hind legs that they cut that.
Dutch will tell you. He's probably
Um,
cooked several of them.
I remember seeing a couple of people, maybe like 2 years ago or something, that were cooking up those steaks. It's not the most tender steak that you'll eat, but I think it's just the fact that Guga might have done it. But I remember Guga doing it, and then some other creators did it. It was just like a huge piece of steak that just, it wasn't. I wouldn't think it was very tender.
Yeah.
It's not. It doesn't make for the best steak, but it looked cool.
Here's the meat guy right here,
Yeah. It
Mike.
says it's a round steak.
Bone in round roast.
Yeah. I think that is just. Although
I haven't seen
I
it all day.
enjoy those types of cooks where they look really cool. I love my ribeyes. Why am I gonna cook up that gigantic steak that's not gonna be very good?
Well, because you got to eat, you got to feed your family, your friends, your neighbors, maybe.
Quentin Nelson says he'll take the Conca. There you go. The Conca actually makes sense to me because you could even have to have a grill to use that. It's a standalone rotisserie,
But you got
so
to have electric.
you can just build up a little fire on the ground and then just cook.
I guess you could tie a piece of rope on it. And tie a knot in it, so you just keep pulling the
Yeah.
ropes that it rotisseries.
Yeah.
It turns, so you don't have electric.
I think don't those run on? They have the option, right, on electricity or a battery.
I'm not
That's-
sure.
I thought that's what Jorge was talking about. That he.
Yeah, it may very well be. Actually, talk about 805. I actually seared up some poblanos the other day. I forgot about adding some poblanos to a cook, and I threw them on the coals the other day. I said, well, George did this once. I said, let me cook them real. It's got to cook them fast. I threw them around the coals, and sure enough, it cooked them good and fast.
Demus says he'll grab his old smoky. So I think everybody's in agreement that they would take their kettle, whether it's the Weber or the old smoky. I think that's the way to do it. Solar, battery, or electric.
Oh, is that right?
Pretty good.
Yeah, heck yeah. Covered.
And Lance, do you have a rotisserie?
I do for my Weber.
Okay.
With the one that has the add-on sleeve to bump the rotisserie up, and then you run the rotisserie through it.
Yeah, because I think you did now I remember. I think you did a rib roast on it, right?
I have. I did a 4-bone roast, a prime rib.
Yeah.
Nice. I've done turkeys and chicken on it. I like it actually. I tell you what, what's up, Tom? What's that thing called? I don't know, used it a few times. It's such a pain in the butt to clean. The merry-go-round thing. What do they call that thing that has the trays that go around like a rotisserie?
I don't know what that's called, but I know what you're talking about.
Roast. I haven't used it for a while, but that thing, you got to take it apart and actually soak it in a bucket of water.
Yeah.
Because the shelves, they slide together to accommodate different widths of your cooker.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just a pain in the butt to get apart once that barbecue sauce or something like that gets inside of there.
Oh yeah, once it's burned in there, it's the same. I feel the same way about that basket. I still don't have one of those rotisserie baskets because I feel like those are a pain in the butt to clean too. Once because they're all the little wires, the little mesh wires. You could imagine after going over some barbecue sauce or something, they're gonna get baked in.
I'd like to have one of those. I think I'd rather have the one that maybe you can, like, it has one side of it will collapse and pinch, the food together or tightly. Because I've seen the ones where the food just tumbles in them like wings or something, and it just I've actually seen it where it tumbles, and you can see that the seasonings just
just falling off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like those. I would like one of them. I think I'll try to get one this year. And the reason I bring that up, Lance, is because my I've done a few rotisserie videos, and there seem to be picking up steam. So I'm not sure if it's just a fluke where people are just finding these rotisserie videos that I have, or there's something in the air where people are more interested in getting a rotisserie. But if you do, if you're interested in that stuff, man, you should make a couple of rotisserie videos.
Yeah, well, we've had this conversation probably over a year ago
Mhm.
about rotisserie cooking and all that, and
Mhm.
it's like hanging meat. I'd much rather hang a rack of ribs
Yeah.
uh, than to cook a rack. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I'll cook a rack of ribs anyway. I have to cook them, but
Yeah.
I prefer hanging them because the theory, in my opinion, and it's not just my opinion,
Mhm.
because I'm not a professional here. I just go by, listen to other people, and I agree with them. But about them self-basting themselves, that
Yeah.
it's cooking up here, it's releasing its juices, it's going
Yeah.
away to the bottom where you're hanging it. Rotisserie is doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's got a real nice slow on it, or slow turn on it, and the juices are actually basting the protein before they
Yeah.
cook off. But I
Yeah.
think those are the two best ways of cooking anything, if possible.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I think the hanging. That's still my favorite way to cook up ribs. Is the
Yeah, I
hanging.
enjoy it. There's
The-
just to me, there is a very noticeable taste difference between
yeah.
the two.
And it's when I tasted those, it just seems like it's hard to put the time in for just a normal, rib, 6 hour cook, indirect. It's just very hard to go back that because even when you hang them, they cook a lot faster. It just works really, really well.
Yeah,
I
and
talked about this on my lives, and just how big of a fan I am. I always say like it. I put all the things that you think would be the first thing that comes to people's mind is, well, does the bottom burn? It's too close to the fire. Absolutely not. I've never had that experience. It's something where the air is just the heat level, even though it's standing closer to it, it doesn't burn the heck out of the edges. It's just it cooks evenly, so the top cooks just as good as like the middle part, and
what
so I've never had that issue before.
well, and there's some skill to that too, I guess. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not saying, again, not claiming to be a professional, because I did burn a long rack of ribs the
Mhm.
first time I ever hung a rack. But
Okay.
one, my fire was too big. I
Hmm.
didn't need to fill that great big,
No, you
14-inch
don't.
basket full of coal and light that thing up and wait till everything's nice and red. And you
No.
can't, and, when you lift up the lid, your eyebrows get singed. There's so much heat from the bottom, But
Yeah.
just building a small little fire, and then even offset it. So, because that basket in the bottom of my drum, it's pretty big.
Yeah.
So if I bank to one side and the hanging hooks,
Yeah.
they've got a little bit of adjustment on them. They're like sprockets.
Yeah.
So the hanging hooks have got a little bit of adjustment to them, and then make sure your ribs are hanging off the side of the fire if
Yeah.
possible. But you could
Yeah.
always use, if you want to, you could always use the diffuser plate. I've never used a diffuser plate.
I've never used one either. There's, thought about buying it, but the ones I looked into were, so I have the a Hunsaker rib hanger, and they have that um, deflection plate. I think they call it the Vortex, which is very confusing because there's already a product called the Vortex.
Right.
That's supposed to, it has like little fins around it, so like little supposed to like circulate the air. At least that's what they say. And I always wanted to do it, but it's a good purchase, a good amount of money to purchase that, and I've never found the need to do it.
Yeah.
Uh, I think if I were to get it, would be if I'm cooking a lot of racks, like somebody like our buddy Ruben over there, where he cooked 30 something racks using the Weber Smoky Mountain.
Yeah.
I would probably think about getting that deflector plate because there's just so much grease just falling on it. I would think the fire would get crazy, and maybe the deflector plate would be a good way to control that. You know.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
there's I can't remember the damn name of the guy. I haven't really seen any of his videos for a while. I swear, I think YouTube jerks around with my subscription sometimes because you just all of a sudden you just don't see any or getting any alerts from any of these channels. And when you go check up on the channel, see if there's anything that's posted, like did I miss something or are they did something happen to their health? And they've been steadily posting videos, but
yeah.
I just don't see them. So I don't know what that's all about. But maybe if you miss some, you just you got to refresh things from time to time, maybe. But
Yeah. So
so
what did you see? This creator, what did they do?
what's this? Oh, I'm just saying, people in general, channels in general. Is that?
Oh, I thought you were saying that this guy that you knew, he was hanging ribs, and there was something you wanted to talk about his
Oh,
hanging.
Rye. Was it Rye? Cooking with Rye.
Cooking with Rye. Mm-hmm.
He's got that Hunsaker.
Oh, okay.
I think he's the first one I ever seen use one of those.
Yeah, and I think to your point of YouTube not showing his videos anymore, YouTube shows his videos a lot on my homepage. That's how I've been viewing YouTube for more than a year now. I don't go into my subscription tab. I just chill out in the homepage and see what pops up there.
Yeah.
So there's majority of them are new channels, but your videos always pop up. That's why I'm always commenting on your stuff, because your videos is YouTube knows because it's they know what videos I'm looking for, and they'll present me them like, oh, go check out this video.
Yeah.
And I think that's because there's a lot of creators that I don't see their videos because they don't pop up on my homepage.
I've been going over into the fishing community a lot.
Yeah.
The aquariums, the aquascaping. Aquascaping is when they put the fancy decorations inside the tanks. Usually, it's like live plants or what have you, and driftwoods and different types of fancy stones and everything. And I'm really getting into it. I've had an aquarium when I was younger. When I first got married, we had an aquarium I got from my father-in-law, and I'm just getting back into them, and I'm really enjoying it. And this aquascaping thing, I used to fix up aquariums. Just go to a dime store or whatever and buy that plastic thing that had the little plastic cup on the end that you would push down to the gravel so the plastic thing wouldn't float up. But today's aquarium decorating is not the same as it used to be, And
you don't have that little old scuba diver guy.
The bubble or the trunk hit the trunk of gold.
Yeah, the trunk of gold.
Yeah, it pops up and bubbles come out of it.
Yeah, I would imagine now though it must be interesting. Or like, what are the stuff you're finding? Like, I would imagine there has to be some digital stuff going on right now. Like you have, like LEDs are a big thing, so there must be like a full light show for aquariums now.
There is. Later, Russ. There's actually air stones, like the things that put bubbles into your water to oxygenate your water. Mm-hmm. There's actually things in there for LED lights for those even. So
yeah, I would imagine it'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah,
or just like little devices, little things that are just floating around just automatically, that are maybe solar power, light generated, that just go around swimming with the fishes.
There very well could be. I'm just not up on it as much as put the frog into an aquarium. I could do that. I'm just, getting into this aquascaping thing, and it's really, really interesting. I mean, there's even competitions with this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Go to these huge shows in Chicago or California. Matter of fact, there is one coming in California
Yeah.
this year. Um, but Florida, and they're just huge like convention centers,
Hmm.
and they sell wholesale or retail, whatever they do. And so I've never been to one, but I was
Yeah.
watching some videos where there's actually competitions where you decorate the inside of them, and there's different points that you can be awarded for different things, creating a depth,
Yeah.
lighting, all
I
kinds.
think I think all that stuff is cool. I just, it's just another thing for me to throw money at, and and it feels it'll be one of those other things that I'm just like, okay, I'm putting in a lot of money to fish tanks, and all the fish tank itself is probably the cheapest, right? Because some of these fish are like crazy expensive, and it would break my heart if I spend a ton of money on these fish and then the next day they die because I don't take care of the pH levels of the water.
Yeah, well, no, it's definitely something that you would have to. I would surely hope that you would have the water chemistry part of it figured out before
Yeah.
you go out and do that kind of stuff. Because I'm like you, I wouldn't. I mean, some of the fish are crazy money, crazy
Yeah.
money. Just like the trains. I mean, the train hobby. Good God, man, those things are meat. Jesus,
Yeah.
just a meat to cook these days. I mean, what's a full brisket? Over $100 anymore.
Yeah.
So crazy. Yeah,
I, I,
everything is just
yeah, I
crazy.
don't think there's a cheap hobby anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think there is, except for maybe what Simon's saying over there. He's asking about big-breasted women. Maybe watching big-breasted women is the cheapest hobby that you can get nowadays.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was distasteful. I'm sorry, Lance. I didn't mean to get I didn't mean to get out of control on your life.
I see someone's butthurt because I stopped highlighting all the comments. Yeah, it's a no-win. You can either if you highlight every one of them, they ask you why you're highlighting every one of them. You
Yeah.
stop highlighting every one of them, then they say, "Well, why aren't you highlighting all the conversations?"
And God forbid, Lance, you highlight a comment and then you forget to put it down.
Can't win. Calm down, Sal. What's up, Georgia Mike? So Sleeper is talking about doing something a little bit different. We're talking
Uh-oh.
about getting into some of this aquascaping stuff. I
Yeah.
see that, and Simon's been helping me with changing the name of another channel that I have that's just been
Yeah.
sort of stale for a while, and I don't even know if I want to do that, but
Yeah.
it's just that's where I was going full bore, and I was like the other day I was like, man, what's the rush?
Yeah.
What's the rush? Think about it, a little bit, and having two different channels, it's just you got to
It's a
go to
lot
the
of
other
work.
channels to check for comments and
Oh
uh,
yeah, it's my thing about this whole YouTube thing. It's really crazy what we do. Like unless you're creating comment, you don't understand the amount of work that you put in. It's a lot of most of the time it's free work. You're
right,
spending hours and hours on this stuff. That's why if you have no if you don't find this stuff enjoyable, then you're not gonna. Who would do this? Who in their right mind would do this? Would if I didn't like making barbecue content, do you think I would be wasting so many hours? No, I could use those same hours and research into something that would be making me money right now. Not YouTube.
right,
So the reason I do YouTube is I enjoy the hell out of it. I enjoy, being here with you, talking to, the barbecue community. I enjoy cooking. It's my main, it's my main hobby. I guess you could call it a hobby, right? It's just a passion. and then just being able to share that with people. That's completely fine if I make 10 cents or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
That's it's kind of the money making part is really the second priority.
Yeah.
The main priority is I just want content out there. So
Well,
then
when
when you talk about making another channel, it's like, oh, now you want to double down on that? You want to put in more time on a second channel and try to build that up, and and then being discouraged because your YouTube doesn't decide to push out your content to the right people, and it's an ongoing thing. Why would anyone would do that? I don't know. It's beyond me.
Yeah.
If you enjoy the hell out of it, then by all means have 10 channels, different topics, and you
Yeah.
could do
No,
that,
I like to keep it, somewhat under control,
Yeah.
and the barbecue channel, I haven't figured it out, and I've been told that, the quality of things is just not up to snuff.
Yeah.
I've done, what I want to still enjoy what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm not really interested in critiquing everything to, you know, editing out one word that I left in a statement or in a cook, I should say. But I'm just not into that. I really wish I didn't have to edit at all. I mean,
Yeah.
not that I'm not saying I hate editing, because I don't really hate editing.
Yeah.
It's actually sort of kind of fun merging this and merging that, or cutting this out and cutting that out.
Yeah.
It's actually a little fun doing some of that, or adding music to it, and
Yeah. I think your main objective is figuring out who your videos are for. Yeah, because Quentin over here says, your kids and your grandkids are gonna. It's something that they're gonna watch.
right,
Now,
right,
if you decide that is your main audience,
right,
then you could leave videos long because they want to see granddad or dad talking.
yeah,
You know what I
right,
mean? They don't want you to edit anything out because that's you. But
right,
if your audience, if you want to make your audience somebody that like a young person that's really into TikTok, that wants the fast paced stuff, then that's a different audience. You have to at that point edit stuff down. You want to deliver it quickly.
right,
So it all depends on who your audience is, and I think a lot of us don't, when we start out, or even a couple years in, we don't think about that. Like, who is our audience? The
right,
people in the chat right now are our audience. Is it somebody who doesn't have a grill, our audience? Trying to convince them to buy a grill. Is it somebody, how old are they? Are they an older generation who might already know how to grill, so you kind of have to do something different for them?
yeah,
So it depends. Is
yeah,
it a female audience? That's going to be very different with how you make your content. If you're targeting women, if you're targeting men, if you're targeting both, if you're targeting teenagers, like whatever that case may be, you have to kind of think about it.
yeah,
And then just deal with it. You just like, okay, but YouTube hasn't found that audience yet that I'm looking for, and I just got to keep making that content until they do. And at some
right,
point, we all wish they will.
yeah. Well,
That's
that's what I'm sort of kind of getting at, I guess. I'm not, whether I'm good or not. I really don't. I mean, I want to be the best of what I try to do. I mean,
yeah.
to sit here and say it doesn't bother me, it would be a lie. I mean, I do want to be the best at what I can do,
Hmm.
or what I try to do rather. But I was thinking, why limit myself to just one thing on a channel? I mean, I've heard for so many years.
Yeah.
Tommy from Gallery Backyard was probably the first one I ever heard him say that. Was that you know he doesn't like being boxed into barbecues.
Yeah.
Barbecue when there's so much other things that he's capable of making, from his kitchen.
Hmm.
Um, so and he felt like if he didn't play by the rules, well then the algorithms wasn't going to help them out. Um, and that's probably the one thing that I worry about more than anything is that the algorithms. If I
Yeah.
start doing other stuff like, I'm what I'm getting at, I guess, just to sort of say it instead of making it long, stretching it out, is that we talked about aquascaping and fish. I want to bring in some of the tanks,
Yeah.
and I don't want to have to do it through Sleeper's Hobbies, the other
Yeah.
channel. It sort of kind of went stale.
Yeah.
I put a couple shorts on it lately, but it's just sort of kind of like uh, so low on the totem pole and
Yeah.
buried no matter what you put on there. I mean, it's uh,
Yeah.
very hard.
Yeah.
It's very hard for that channel to get any recognition. And
Yeah.
it was actually recommended to me to like sort of kind of like pivot things together maybe
Yeah.
and maybe take this channel, which is monetized,
Yeah.
is what I'm thinking now is just to instead of creating another channel where I can do this and that, just whatever the hell it is, it's going to be what it is. I'm
Yeah.
going to bring. If you want to see me decorate aquarium, please watch me decorate aquarium.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that like the gentleman that was in here earlier with the bonsais. If I get some of them guys over here, watching the channel, maybe they'll watch some of the barbecue channels or the
Yeah.
barbecue stuff. So maybe the barbecue channel will grow a little bit more. It is the monetized channel, so I don't know. I mean, why box myself? I'm the one that's paying for everything. I'm the one's doing everything.
It's
What's
your
up, Grave?
it's your time. So you're
Right,
allowed to spend that time however you want. Don't let anybody dictate. Especially like that's the thing that I always keep in mind is remember we are still small. Like if you had 100,000 subscribers, I would say, whoa, Lance, like, hold on, like you've developed this audience, you're gonna piss people off if you
wake up
start.
from your dream. Wake up from your dream. It's not going
No,
to.
no, I'd be like, whoa, you're gonna piss a lot of people off. You start posting aquarium stuff, because you have 100,000 loyal, followers they want your next barbecue cook. But
Right,
at our size, like it really grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter. And I think the big channels will say differently, because
yeah,
most of them come from that old where the YouTube penalize you greatly for having a variety of things on one channel. But I
right,
don't think that's the case anymore. I think at least if you, like I said, I brought up earlier that most of the stuff I watch is on my homepage. Most of the stuff that it's on my homepage is not barbecue related and is not people that I'm subscribed to. So it knows what I want to watch,
right,
and I feel like that is more important is just having good content, right? That doesn't change. You have to have good content.
right,
So if you are small enough where you could pivot, and I wouldn't even think it'd be that huge of a pivot because I think what you're describing of having different things on your channel is more you're turning it into a lifestyle channel. So
right,
it's like you are the main focus. This is Lance. People, fans of Lance, they'll tune in, and they don't care whether you're out fishing or fixing an aquarium or barbecuing or whatever the new hobby is. They'll follow you around. That's a different audience.
right.
So I think you're onto something. I mean, I think it could work. You just
Yeah,
have to remember you have to post good content no matter what you do. Don't get lazy or don't take shortcuts. Like really, like give it your all.
right, right. And I mean, I can always stop it, but if I don't try it, I'll spend the rest of the years I have left like, damn, I should have tried that. And
Hmm.
I'll show another case in point. Guggen even sent me a text. He watched my recent video,
Hmm.
and he heard me in a video say, "Damn it, Lance," and he was looking out for me. It's like, it's what I gather. He was getting that with the text. It's like, but you meant to leave that in there, and I was like, I did. You know, it's like, you know, um, I don't know. I'm just, I don't want to say I'm getting tired of playing by the rules, because there's rules for a reason. I've always been raised that way. There are rules for a reason, whether you like them or not. And but there's stuff like that. If I want to, drop a blooper with a cuss word, then I'm going to do so. You know,
Yeah.
if I
Yeah.
if I want to, put a tank,
Yeah.
bring a tank. I just introduced, some cichlids,
Yeah.
to my tank. Then
Yeah.
then that's what I want to do. I've put some money into this. Petco has decided they want to change their labeling on their tanks, so they put all their tanks at 50% off. So I've bought like 5 or 6 tanks just waiting to be decorated. My brother-in-law Keith and sister gave me a tank, 30-gallon hexagon that I need to redecorate. Come spring, there's 75 gallons sitting here beside me. The koi are going to go into the pond to their permanent home. I want to redo that tank. The community tank right now is just a big hodgepodge behind me, because I just have all these plants in there floating, waiting to be planted into some of these new tanks. But I just want to get into things. This is
Yeah.
and enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, what's the worst thing that could happen? It's this other thing might blow up, and then all of a sudden you have thousands of new subscribers of aquarium, and now you're like, well, like, there goes that barbecue stuff. I have to just keep posting aquarium stuff. That's probably the worst thing that could happen, but I mean, it's a good problem to have, right?
Yeah. Troy reminded me of one of Russ's videos up here. Says, when I get mad at myself, I say, "Damn it, Lance." He put out a video the other day where he put an image of himself walking behind another image of himself, and he flipped himself off. But it's like talking to yourself.
I mean, what do you think, Guggen? I know you're sitting there listening, but am I completely wrong with my kind of, am I stupid to say, like, just post anything and just turn into a lifestyle channel and see what happens? Or
No, I don't think you're wrong at all. Lance and I have been in talks, last few days about it too,
Yeah.
via, texts and calls. And
yeah,
I think it's a good idea. I think,
Yeah.
like I told him, I think he's got a good personality. And I think if he starts
Yeah.
putting out some different content, then people aren't going to just be watching because of aquariums or barbecue. They're going to be watching because they want to watch him.
yeah, exactly. That's what I think too. It's just because but now you have to focus on that. Now you have to, like, really, you put yourself out there. Like, you really have to, just
And that's
be
sort of kind of,
funny. Be funny when you want to be funny. Be angry when you need to. Like, it's just gonna be you, and that,
yeah.
who knows? Like, they could be like an angry grandpa kind of channel, where you're just mad at, the rest of, all of us for just, like, you guys don't even know how to cook ribs. Like, let me show you, kind of thing. Like, you guys,
Right.
like, it could be something like that, or it doesn't
Yeah.
even have to be a character. It could just be you.
You young whippersnappers. But I believe, two heads are better than one. I mean, that's why I reached out to Guggen and Sal both, and that's why I'm talking about in the chat. I mean, y'all are part of my decision making. I mean, the final word is going to be me, but I want the input. I mean, I even asked Sal before going live tonight. I asked him if he was going to be able to attend tonight. I told him my thoughts. I thought about, probably reaching out to the chat and, and seeing what they have to say about it. Should it be a conversation I have with the chat? And, and I think so. I personally,
Yeah.
think it's,
Yeah.
should be, brought out into the opening in the open. So
Yeah.
I want
Yeah.
to.
And like I said, I don't think it's gonna, like, all the people in the chat right now, they're still gonna tune in, because I mean, your lives are an example, a proof of that, right? Because you don't just talk barbecue on these lives. You're talking about everything.
Well,
People don't just, like, they unfollow you because, oh no, you're talking about aquariums now, I'm just gonna go and follow Lance and never pop into live again.
well, and that's another reason why I hope, that maybe some of the other communities, such as the Bonsai gentleman did this evening, will
Yeah.
come in, and if the barbecue people, and I hope they do hang around if I start talking about aquariums, but it's not going to be aquariums all day long. But
Yeah.
we can't seem, and I include myself in that, uh, can't seem to keep things on topic for barbecue only, whether it goes
Yeah.
over to welding or whether it goes over to CO2 or whether it goes over to fish, the snow, whatever it does, I don't know. It's hard to stay on topic. I did
Yeah.
watch. I sent the guy an email commending him on his lives. It's an aquarium live,
Mhm.
and that guy. I've watched several of his lives actually. Last night wasn't the first one, or night before wasn't the first one, but um, he stays on topic through the whole time. He has a co-host. The co-host is his wife,
Mhm.
and Stephen P is the channel. Stephen P 2003 or something like that. But they stay on topic, and this guy, he has a plan. It blew me away. I mean, there's games that are aquarium related. He's doing, I think it's AI drawing, where he's making a fish, and you got to guess what kind of fish it is, and and his chat is guessing what it is, and there's a point system, so they all earn points with the correct answers, or he puts up someone's logo and it's extremely blurred, and he starts going through and making it a little bit more visible, and again the chat's guessing whose logo it is, and they earn points that way, at the end. And I assume that somewhere near the end they're going to be awarded for the points that they've earned. But I've never seen, I don't think I can say, I honestly say that I ever seen a live where it stayed on topic the whole time. And
Yeah.
it just, and they're drinking,
Yeah.
and I don't mean to say that taking auditions. I'm not saying, like Sal, your lives do stay on topic.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I actually was trying to stay on topic, but sometimes I wasn't. Sometimes I drifted off barbecue.
Well, and don't take this the wrong way,
Yeah.
Sal. I appreciate your opinion. But sometimes I believe that unless you're making that topic fun from start to beginning,
Hmm.
if it's just too dead serious, it gets
Yeah.
boring.
Yeah.
It gets boring, unless you can make it fun and keep
Yeah.
their attention.
And that was my thing was, and that's why I stopped making lives, because one, they just take too much time, and two, I didn't think I was offering enough in that
Yeah,
space, and I didn't want to make the necessary changes to make it more entertaining, make it more interesting, and
right,
and and now glue myself to a weekly schedule and all that stuff. So I said it's not for me. I
yeah,
might come back, but that's going to be more of a it's going to be more of that type of show, but a little bit more entertaining. I'd rather, if I do that format when I'm just talking to the camera, it's going to be edited. It's going to be more of a podcast. I've
yeah,
seen a lot of barbecue people do that format where it's not live, but it's just us talking like this, and then it's edited. So if I'm talking
yeah,
about, oh, let's hang ribs, as I'm talking about it, I'll cut in uh, a video of me hanging ribs,
right,
because that's what editing does. It makes it a
right.
little more easier to swallow.
So if it's if it's a live, and I said this. I mean, if it's a channel, I sort of kind of get ahead of myself. If it's a channel covering different topics, and you keep saying lifestyle, and I actually like that saying.
Yeah,
It's lifestyle. I think that's pretty cool, actually. But I don't want to change sleeper barbecue. I don't know how
no,
to. I haven't really figured out how to, um, um, get other topics into the title without changing the title. But
no, you just drop the barbecue. It's just sleeper. That's who you
yeah,
are.
yeah,
That's all you need to do is drop. That's a very easy transition. You drop the
yeah.
barbecue from your logo, and you're there. You know.
And I don't want to. I have and we'll get back to the lives now. I mean, it would break my heart if I didn't have, these people, to the right of me, in this column, putting their comments in there, smart ass comments or not. Uh, you know, um, it would break my heart if I didn't have that every Sunday. Every Sunday. I mean, I don't want to walk away from what I have established.
Yeah.
I've said it the other night. I may have been to Guggen. I've been doing this stuff for going on, or maybe it was Simon. I've been doing this for going on like 4 years.
Yeah.
And I'm actually, sort of kind of the last one from the original four. George is still in the background, somewhat. Like he said, he's still in that. What did he say? I'm still in the house, but he's creating a new life, a new relationship. I said, a life for them. So until that's established, he actually said something in the chat. I don't want to repeat it because maybe he wants it to be a surprise. I don't know, but he has plans, future plans in the next year. So we probably won't see George for a year, but but he still keeps his he's still keeping his toe in the fire, I guess I could say. And
yeah.
And I don't want to say that.
Lance, I could read between the lines. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I just, and I want to keep it going, So if George comes back, he's just, he just steps in. He's, and it's still going, I mean,
I'm sure he. I mean, you like I said, you guys do this on the chat all the time. You're not even when George is on the channel. You guys are talking more than just barbecue. So I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah, Google said it. You can post videos of all the things will just make fun of you, still make fun of you, and I expect that. I expect that. Some point in your life when you're 65, 66 years old next month, you just don't give a shit. You just laugh along with them. That's just the bottom line. But some of it is pretty damn funny, But I enjoy it, and if it makes y'all laugh, then damn it, man, I did what I was supposed to do.
Damn it, Lance.
Damn it, Lance. You made someone happy. You made them smile.
Yeah.
You bastard.
No.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
And I'd rather, make them laugh.
Yeah.
But
I think
that's my plan.
Yeah. Like you said, just take your time, really plan it out, and just kind of figure out how you want to approach that and just do it. I think that's the last piece of advice is just do it.
Just do it.
Be like Nike, just do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I can always turn back, but I don't want to walk.
That's why, like I said, you could throw whatever you want at the wall. If it doesn't stick, then just go back. There's nothing telling you, oh, you're doing this now, you're stuck. Like, no, you could do whatever the hell you want. This is your time.
Right. I don't want to, walk away from cooking because I enjoy cooking, but I want to get away from the. It's mandatory.
Yeah.
I was telling Guggen because I've been thinking about this. I mean, this isn't like a spur of the moment decision. I told Guggen. Actually, I even considered it today, but our weather is so nasty. I mean, it's 29 degrees right now. It's going to be dropping more all night long. But I even thought about, a cook would be implementing both of them. Let's prep the meal. While it's on the kettle, I pull out, a little 6-gallon cube tank, and I'm going to decorate and get it ready for some freshwater, blue shrimp that I'm going to release into it. Some diamond blue shrimp I want to release into it, So, and then put that back, and implement both of them in the same channel. But I don't know if that might be more biting off more than I can handle.
It's definitely would be a little bit more difficult to edit out, but but if it flows, then it flows. That's really what it is. It's if you're telling a story, it's just gotta flow. It can't look awkward and abrupt or out of place. And that's a skill. I think that's a skill that most people wish they had. You know,
All right.
just flow from topic to topic. And I think the best teachers, that's what they do, right? They're able to just flow with what they're telling you, explaining to you, and they just flow into the next topic, and it's all just smooth and easy to follow. It's not boring. You know, they'll crack in a joke once in a while to keep you alert. That's what a good teacher does.
Right. I actually had a teacher like that before. No matter what they said or did, they just had your attention the whole time. I
Mhm.
mean, and Al's lives are like that, and his
Yeah.
videos that he does, and Sal, yours are the same way. It's just like, and some of these other lives that I watch, even in the fishing community. I mean, they just um, they have your attention the whole damn time, and I was watching this young lady do a escape in an aquarium the other day, and I mean, they even picked up the music that played part of it where she was doing escape, and she blew these what they call tannins, which is like almond tree leaves, and when they start to break down into your water, they create tannins, which is like tinting your water. It makes it look like it's a cup of tea or something. Well, it's actually beneficial to your fish. But she like blew them, and the song that she was playing, it just started, making these tingling noises, as the leaves flew from her hand and landed perfectly to the tank. But it was cool.
Lance, are you going to get into saltwater at all? Saltwater aquariums?
I would love to get into salt water. I actually did talk to Christy and Randy about it a little bit, and um, I really would like to do it, but I think that's just one of those things that I don't think would be within my budget. I mean,
I gotcha.
some of them fish uh, are $100 a piece.
Mm.
Actually, I watched this thing. If you want to, there's a good show. There's one of them in there. I can't remember the guy's name. He does mostly saltwater tanks on his channel, but he did a walkthrough of a one of those convention shows I was talking about. It was 2000. I'm sorry, yeah, 2024 Aquashella in Chicago, and they did he did the tours because he's into saltwater. All these saltwater live plants and stuff. It just, man, I was just blown away. I had one guy held one in his hand. So how much is that? $400. I'm like, damn.
Jeez.
How many rivers you buying and putting in your tank?
Yeah.
But
I've always
the,
been intrigued.
the corals and all that just blows me away. The colors but it goes right. The price tag right along with it.
Mhm.
I've always been intrigued by saltwater, though. I went down a rabbit hole one time on YouTube. And have you looked at like these millionaire and billionaire
Oh
like
yeah,
houses that are basically built with aquariums, and their whole
Yeah.
basement is all the filtration systems and saltwater things, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
flood to the next position. What Chris was saying, I saw Al say FML was one of had to catch up to that. I missed that one. It's just cold in Maryland. Get under the covers, Lance. Make little answers. That train's come and gone. And that's the other thing too. So I want to, I've got so much footage stored up with trains and stuff. Being with my brother-in-law, helping him, bust up all that concrete and fix his roof and stuff at his place and my sister's place. There's so much to see up there, and we took some time to be able to go, walk the train tracks and stuff like that. So you forgot hashtag Guggen. Um,
That's what happened.
so it's fun to be able to do that, and be able to even bring shooting into it. I mean, I enjoy target shooting. I mean, I actually love target shooting, but we'll get something going.
Mombasa, 79 there,
Yeah,
84% humidity. That's just where I like it.
you always got to roll. Yeah, yeah. All dried up. I just like freeze dried powder.
Like powdered milk.
Oh. See, I get laughing at myself again. So it's part of it. Everybody's enjoying it. I see a couple smiley faces and comments, so that's good.
Yeah.
So I think I cut you off when I went to go ask you the question. I would say, I was looking at the head count in the chat, the top of the screen. I was like, this might be the right time instead to talk about changes. Um, cover your ears, Des. Cover your eyes, Des. But about getting into doing some different things, or
Yeah.
maybe I'm just it's just time for a change.
Yeah.
If I can't, if I haven't made it work in 3 years,
And there's no saying that it won't work, but you're posting this other stuff, and hey, if all your old videos, they just take off, then post a couple barbecue videos. It's not
and
gonna.
actually, something else that was said, and I'll go ahead and pat myself on the back because I did correct the gentleman in a live Saturday morning, again aquarium live, and there was one guy came in there, and I posted on a sleeper barbecue, and the co-host said, "Hey, who's this sleeper barbecue guy?" And the host was saying, "Oh, he's been around for for a little bit, checking here, popping in and out." And the co-host started watching the channel, barbecue channel, and I realized that he's not. Uh, I mean, maybe I shouldn't say this, but he's. I want to assume he's not a. Yeah. Mind blown right now.
Somehow that wow just seemed like very sarcastic, right? Like wow.
Right. So he looked at the channel and he started talking in the chat like, "Wow, look at this guy! Look at his cooks! Look at this! This saucy that's made for these tacos, and this guy is a professional. He must do competitions all the time." And I had to come back in there. As much as I loved hearing it, I just told him, said, "No, I'm just a backyard cook. I'm no professional. But it was cool to see something."
You should have followed up with. You should have followed. Yeah, I was a semi-finalist on that YouTube barbecue competition.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. Came in, what was it, third? I think I got third in that one.
There you go.
But yeah, I mean, it just was sort of kind of a toot toot, So in the barbecue world, you're just a small channel, but in a different forum, they look at you differently. They don't. You sort of kind of alluded to it earlier, Sal. Or do they have a grill? Do they barbecue?
Yeah.
When someone from outside the community looks into your channel and sees that stuff, they're like, "Wow,
yeah,
look at what this guy does." I can't do this stuff, but I don't know.
Because it's an ongoing theme on my live, saying that a lot of people. I think last time I looked at the number, and chat, please fact check me on this, but it was 80% of Americans own a grill.
Yeah.
But I haven't been able to find the exact number on this, but I'm betting you that maybe the majority of them, they're cooking like once a year, on their gas grill, if that. 4th of July, they'll cook up some burgers. The majority of the people are not. They only have one grill. That's what it is. It's just we, people in the chat, we think that the majority of people that barbecue have a ton of grills or grilling every day. We're trying different methods of brisket and ribs, and that's not the reality of it. So
Right.
it's really our job to kind of convince you or to inspire others to, hey, just cook up these ribs a different way. Don't just cook them. Don't cook
Yeah.
them in the oven. Like, go take them out on. Just buy yourself a Weber kettle. They're inexpensive. Go out there and just throw them in. Put a wood chunk on there, and just, I'll show you how to do it. I have a video. And just do it, and I guarantee you they're going to be way better than anything you get out of that oven.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So what do you got coming up, Al? Or Al? So Al's popped up about the same time. I was getting ready to ask you a question, Sal. Anything coming up?
No, so I'm on this whole bad air quality. It barely started to get better now, so I'm gonna start cooking out there again. It's just kind of a hiatus. I was
Yeah.
gonna go on a hiatus anyways because it's the beginning of the year, and I wanted to have a little bit of a break.
Right.
But now it's just kind of an extended break because of all this.
Yeah.
I just don't feel right about going out there because there's stuff falling down. I don't know who knows what's in the air. A lot of structures burned. There's a lot of stuff that you don't want on your food. So
Yeah.
so
I
that's
remember I'm sorry. I remember my aunt was telling when they were swim washing in the Seattle area, and when Mount St. Helens erupted, she was talking about the ash and stuff and smoke that was in the air and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, and it's just not. It's just, if this was just a natural forest fire, then okay, the stuff that's coming down is just ash from trees. But these are full-on structures. There's just chemicals, that's just in the air. So as soon as I feel better about the air quality, then I'll start grilling. I already got all my videos pretty much figured out for at least the next 6 months. I kind of already know what I'm gonna do.
yeah, and just because we are maybe, and I mean this isn't going to happen overnight either, but the once a month or whatever we work out, where there'll be a live cook during the lives, that's still happening. I haven't walked away from that yet. I still want to get that going. I think Sal's pretty interested in it. He's waiting for his air quality to pick up, and I can certainly understand that. But I think that's going to be pretty cool. I mean, Drunken Chef actually left a comment the other night, and he was saying how much he thought it was going to be fun, and they've all done that. I'm just sort of kind of following her footsteps, but I'm hoping that I'm tweaking it enough to make it mine, or not mine. I should have said that. Make it ours. Make it a little bit different. Because I really think having a co-host that can watch the chat, can field questions or what have you, so that the person cooking can sort of kind of focus on what they're doing. And again, don't stretch the cook out. Have your veggies chopped up. Whatever it is, whatever preparation you can possibly do, like lighting your charcoal. I mean, don't light it when you first start the live to cook. That kind of stuff. Just make it quick and simple. It's not going to be two people cooking. Unless you bring in Annie and help you out, Sal, or something like that. But
no, I think I tried it. I was telling you this. I tried it once to do a live cook, and it was fine. It's just my biggest thing was not being able to read the chat. Like the laptop was so far away that I couldn't answer people's questions. So I think your way of doing it, I think it's going to work out better, because you could have whomever just kind of sit at the sidelines and just read the chat, and then you would hear me like, hey, the chat has a question, and I think that
I will say, having Simon and Russ, they fielded all that, and I could, I knew what was going on behind me, but I had my phone over there is what I was using to record
Yeah.
with.
Yeah.
So I mean, that actually took the temptation of stopping and saying, "What did he just say?" While you're cooking, you could still cook,
Yeah.
and just let Simon or whoever, field the questions at the time, or laugh at something, repeat something that's silly, whatever it is.
Mhm.
I got some more cooks I like to do, some more things that I like to do yet, and we will see. I think Simon says he has an interest in it. Um, so
Who's
I'm
that?
top-
Who's that guy who runs the Monument Girls channel? Who does lives every once in a while? He does a pretty good job
Oh
Chef
yeah.
of of cooking live and keeping the chat. I know he's got multiple people. Yeah. I know he's got multiple people helping him, but he's
Yeah,
pretty entertaining.
yeah,
Yeah.
Chef.
I would study. As a matter of fact, I would study his lives because he has a good setup where he preps a lot. Obviously, prepping is the key, right? You don't want to sit through a live of me prepping up a bunch of stuff, So a lot of that stuff has to just be ready to go, and some of that stuff it already has to be cooking, when you
Right,
go live because if I'm presenting ribs, and obviously you're gonna catch me at the last 15 minutes or so before they're done.
right,
You're not gonna
right,
sit for a 6-hour cook.
right, and just keep your because there's I see Chef John's backyard. He's the guy you're talking to. I mean, and I think he does a great job. I'm not taking anything away from what he does, but the only thing that I will say is that his audio seems to be an issue.
Yeah,
Every time I watch his live, so just the audio drives me crazy. So
yeah.
keep that in mind too when you're coming up there, just to just like you would if you're recording it.
Oh, Simon.
Uh, you're blowing out your mic right now. I can't tell you're hoarse.
I'm blowing it out.
Yeah,
Does it sound bad?
no, it's loud. You're definitely loud.
Yeah, my mic is broken. I gotta send it in for warranty.
Okay.
I can't control. It's got volume control on it, but it's not. Actually doing what I'm telling it to do. It's just full volume.
This sounds like Lance.
Yeah, I'll move the mic away so it's not so bad. But yeah, it's I've noticed that in my videos. I have to unplug it every time, and then replug it in, and then it'll be okay. And then I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I can put. I can try to edit it from the panel here, but what you just did works great.
Okay.
It sounds like you want to be on Soul Train. What was that guy's name?
Oh,
He did have that deep voice. You sound better when you weren't talking.
Chris, you want to talk about Hummers?
And shit on that.
We can talk about Hummers and pea soup if you want.
Guggen and I had a conversation the other day. He put up a little video of him doing donuts when they got snow in his Hummer. At one point, man, he threw up, I mean, all kinds of dirt. And I'm thinking to myself, man, he just tore up that new lawn of his. Just moved into the house, not even a year or maybe a year old, and he just put ruts all on the ground. I mean, there was dirt and everything slinging. Oh, no, I didn't. I'm telling you, I didn't. I said, well, you
Man,
did. It must be your driveway. He'd send a picture of the snow melted, and you can't even tell where anybody's driven over it. I was like, no.
I was sweating so bad after that. Like, it looked so bad. And then in the garage, I parked it back in the garage. There's just mud and water. It's still there, just sitting everywhere. I'm like, I ruined my lawn, but it looks, I don't know how, it looks fine.
Especially folded out. Don Cornelius, that's him.
yeah.
Love peace and I used to watch that show. I used to love it when they got and they formed that line and the two rows of people get in the center and start
Yeah,
dancing
I,
down the
I, I
line.
I've been to weddings where they do that. It was really good times.
16 years old, I was watching that shit, and I was like, "Damn, how they do that stuff, man!" I'd be on my ass, my face, or in the hospital. One,
Come on, Lance. You know you got some dance moves on you. We saw them on New Year's Live that one night. That one
I
New
could
Year's.
do. Yeah, the monkey, I've got that down pat. The swim, I'm real good at.
You need to post that. You need to post that live stream as private so we can watch it. The one where you were talking about Rockwell, and you drank the whole bottle of Disaronno.
Oh, that's not true. I did use just a very little bit of it. I had just enough to flavor that sauce up the other day, but
I saw that. I didn't know if it was the same bottle, but I'm like, if it was, man, he was hurting pretty bad if he still has like that much left.
yeah, it was that much. That was that same bottle, yeah, and it was just that little bit left in there. But
That was a crazy night. When was that? Was that 2023 or 2024? I think it was 2023.
23, yeah, I think it was 23.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had some platforms.
with the fish tank in the bottom and the soles.
I have seen those though. You know, I had a pair of platform shoes. I walked
Wait.
probably 6 miles to an all-girls Catholic school to a date to a girlfriend. She was getting me. She told the nuns that I was her cousin from out of town, and the nuns caught on. They called her parents, and we don't have no family from out of town in here. So I broke a heel on my platform shoes walking back home.
What was this last year?
Yeah, the year before. 2023, that's when everything went downhill ever since 2023. Yeah, I stopped there. That's right. What's up, Josh? And I couldn't let my mom know that, and I got busted because, of course, at school, called my mom up, but I had to fix them shoes. I mean, you get to ass whipping. You know, money wasn't something that grew on trees. And I took a damn framing nail, 12-penny nail, and I drove it through into that plastic of the sole of those platform shoes. And of course, right before you get it all the way in, you know, the nail, that last little half-inch, 3/4 nail wants to bend over. So I had to walk on that thing for the rest of the life of those shoes until I had to warm out. But good times. Many years ago. Many years ago, I was one that always got caught skipping school. I don't know how the hell that happened, but I think GPS trackers were out way before we think they were.
Well, yeah.
Never failed.
The drones, the spheres, they've been following you.
Yeah, I can remember walking through a farm field. We're coming out from the railroad tracks, and we stayed all day skipping school. We come out from this farm field, and we get out. As soon as we get out where the grass isn't, 2 foot tall, who pulls up? Is my damn mom. We all fell down in the grass. Of course, the grass is only this tall there. Everything else that was this tall to hide our bodies is behind us now. All busted. Lance was in high school. 7 years for you, Lance. That's quite that long. It's been some time.
So, Guggen, you got any cooks coming up too, or I know you were posting fairly consistently, like last month or so, right? You were
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. It's been tough with the baby.
Yeah.
just making time. Like I want to do them, but
Yeah.
the few days that I get off where I don't have to worry about taking care of the baby or whatever, I'm doing other things around the house, unfortunately. But yeah, I've got some stuff planned at least to get out before Easter. You know,
Yeah.
prime rib and stuff like that's always hot, so probably do something like that.
Yeah. I didn't even cook a
So,
prime rib this year. It's just for my channel. I did make a video, but it wasn't for my channel. I
Yeah.
wanted to, but I just
so the last two cooks of yours have been more or less, some sort of like an open fire type cook. Is that a direction that you're going into, or
I was doing that for that meat probe. So that company sent me that meat probe, and they sent me one a few years ago, and it sucked, and I didn't make any videos with it.
Mhm.
But then they reached out again. They came out with this new one, and it not only connects to Bluetooth, but also connects to Wi-Fi, like some of the more expensive ones.
yeah.
And I've been testing it for the last few months, and it's been awesome. So I was like, okay, well, I'll make some videos because it's actually good.
right?
And that's why I did open fire cooking because they advertise it being good for like 1200 degrees. And um, but I mean, I do. I've been watching Al Fergoni a lot. I really do like the open fire cooking.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but find it fascinating. So,
yeah,
but I'm still gonna change it up. I'm gonna cook on my gas grill and all my smokers and stuff. I think having a variety is good. Some
Yeah.
of my gas grill cooks have been some of my top views, even though
really.
it's not what I love to do. It's easy and convenient, and like Sal said earlier, a lot of people have them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna, just change it up, keep sprinkling in different things. I'm not gonna like hone in on one thing. I want to keep my barbecue channel, grilling channel as broad as I can because it already is kind of a niche.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. It gives you the options. Having the option is nice, you know. And once you get large enough, I think it's hard to do that. You know, I mean, there's creators that do it, but it's I think it's harder because
Hmm.
if you get the majority, the bulk of your subscribers because they enjoy gas grilling content, you post a cook on your Weber, and it does really bad, and you get people complaining, then it's harder to do.
Yeah, I think like was it Dogfather Barbecue? He talks about how he got pigeonholed into pellet smoking,
Yeah,
and he would like to do offset smoking and all the other types, but they don't get the views. And he got most of his subscribers from pellet smoking. So
yeah,
I'm just trying to keep it. I'm still really really small, so I'm just trying to keep it all as open as I can.
yeah, yeah. That's the way. That is the way.
But I think what you're doing, Sal, is really smart too, and focusing a lot on the Weber. I know you do other things, but that's an
Yeah,
affordable grill, and it's probably one of the most popular grills besides gas grills. So it's pretty smart.
yeah. That was my. As much as I want to make more cooks on my Weber Smoky Mountain, I made two last year, and I wanted I wanted to make more just because I love that cooker, and there's definitely an audience for it, but I keep going back to the kettle. Now I just call it a kettle because now I'm working with SNS, and the Weber kettle and the SNS kettle,
Right.
and I just want to make it a point where if you have a Weber and you don't have the SNS, you can still do the same cook. They're
right.
kettles, you know.
Hmm.
I would
That's
think this.
the you know
I would think the Smoky Mountain would almost fall into that too. I mean, it's a
yeah
readily available, you know,
yeah,
type.
yeah, but it's and all of my Weber Smoky Mountain videos have done well, so I know there's an audience for it. But every time I just I get I buy meat, I just kind of default back to the kettle in the planning stages, because I think about these things.
Well, and I guess I think why it's different for you. Um, and I told you this the other day, you're a control freak, but it's like you're so particular and specific on every step of the way,
Yeah,
that it
and
actually makes a person think a little bit more. It's not just throwing, a rack of ribs like Super Barbecue threw a rack of ribs on the kettle and he cooked them, and next thing you know, he's eating them. You know, where you're actually showing all the detailed steps as you go along.
Yeah, and I talked to this. I was talking to Al about this very thing, and I made a change last year, and that was I need to target the beginner, the one that needs for me to tell them how to light up the chimney. You know,
Right,
those all those steps.
right,
Previous years, I've just assumed, sometimes I'd show it how to light up the charcoal, sometimes I wouldn't. But last year it was a goal of mine to just be like, just show every little detail because the comment section where people were asking these things. So now I'm like, I'm going to be full on detail. They might throw off the people that already know how to do these things. They might start skipping. They might just start getting to the sections that, I'm talking about the recipe. They don't care how to light a grill. They know how to light a grill. I haven't really looked at the stats to kind of see if it worked or if
right,
it's causing people to drop off. But yeah, I made it a goal to just explain the steps more thoroughly because
right,
I think the beginner, because again I made my I said it where I really wanted it. I said it on my lives a lot of times. That was the theme of last year. I really wanted to convince people to cook more.
right,
If you cook one brisket, I want you to cook three this year. As expensive as that is, I want you to practice more. If you've never cooked on a charcoal grill, then go out and buy one. It doesn't have to be expensive. Go on Marketplace, get a cheap $20-$30 small little Jumbo Joe. Like just get out there and start grilling on charcoal.
right,
And that was my main theme last year. Is just to get you out there to cook. And
right.
hopefully, I reached out to that audience because I see constant new people leaving comments on old videos, and for the most part, they sound beginners. So maybe it did work. Maybe
Yeah.
YouTube is feeding that to that type of
You,
audience, and that I want to
you,
keep doing that.
your views, because I usually when they come up my feed, I first thing I do. I mean, I do that for a lot of people, but uh, you because I sort of kind of follow you a little bit more than some other channels, but I was like, damn, look at his views already, and then of course then I get into, what is it that he's doing, and I watch his videos. And Al's the same way. I mean, Al's intros, it's like, psh,
No.
I'm not going nowhere until I see the end of this video, you know.
Yeah.
But I was getting at, so you're saying about as far as being detailed. There's an aquarium guy. It's a KG Tropicals. He's the same way. He wants people to be into their aquariums. Just because you had a fish die, don't give up. Keep doing this. And he's very detailed. He's very helpful. But the other thing that I was thinking about, as far as have you ever got into maybe they say that mingling with the audience, bringing the audience into your comments and stuff actually asking questions like, what do you? I mean, make it something that you do weekly.
Yeah.
Okay. Google Barbecue said, let's do some hamburgers. So, we're going to do hamburgers this week. What do you want us to do next?
Yeah.
And then, or you
Yeah, I've done that. I sprinkled some of that stuff on, whereas I make wings a certain way, and then I ask the audience like, hey, what's your favorite way of doing it? Am I wrong? Leave me a comment. In order to get spark up a conversation where someone watching it, you're like, well, I don't do them that way. I do them this way because I could learn from them. That's the other thing too. I don't have this. I'm not on a high horse thinking like my way is the right way and the only way. Like I'm constantly learning from people, and I just the other day I got a great comment where from somebody. It's like, hey, you should try this, and they left the recipe for like a barbecue sauce or something on my comments, and I'm like, that's fantastic. I'm definitely going to try that. Maybe make a video about it. Who knows?
All right.
And I think that's cool. It might drive more engagement. It's like, oh crap, he featured this commenter on his next video. Maybe I should drop a suggestion or an idea.
All right. No, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, at some point, when they start, you get, back-to-back briskets. You almost see a boat method. How about a boat method? Or or how about just cooking a brisket, smoking a brisket without it just, that could be expensive. So where do you draw the line? But, engaging with the audience, YouTube, that Nick Nimmons, whatever he is, and, you watch these channels. I mean, they tell you how important it is to to engage with your audience and let them have some input to give them a feeling of being part of it.
Yeah, and then it's funny you should mention the foil boat, because I did a little joke last year. I've been putting little deleted scenes, little extra things at the very end of the video, so if whoever watches it will see it. And then one of them was me making a foil boat on a brisket, and I literally made a little aluminum foil boat, and then I was like, oh, today we're doing the foil boat on this brisket, and I just kind of just slap it away. I'm like, no, we're not, we're treating this the same. But my thinking is the majority of people are never going to see that, but those who do stick around, they're like, oh, that was kind of funny,
Yeah.
That reminds me of that YouTube short that Brisket made like a couple years ago. I don't know if you remember, making fun of Chud.
Mm-hmm.
Where he's like talking like Chud, and then he's like, no, never again.
Yeah, it's just little things like that.
It was funny.
And it is part of, and that's what I've been leaning towards it, but I didn't follow my own thinking, about damn it, Lance, when's it going to be fun again, and like I said, I think Simon and I were talking about this. I'm done.
Mm-hmm. I think he's talking about that Brisket Medic thing.
But being able to, when I took that 2-month hiatus, from doing videos, I was still cooking, but it was like, God, this is what it was like.
Yeah, liberating, huh?
Yeah, it's like, man, I'm waiting for this thing, action.
Yeah. Yeah.
All that's gone. There's just no cameras, am I recording?
Yeah.
It's like, God, what a difference.
Yeah. No, it's I tell people that the reason you don't see me, in the camera as I'm prepping the brisket or putting it there, cooking, searing the steak and everything, like those video, that style is, you could call it like the Food Network style of video, where I'm there, you see what I'm preparing right in front of me, I'm talking to the camera, and I'm cooking. The reason I don't do that is because I'm in a shitty mood while I'm filming. Like, I'm in a very bad mood. Like, I just want everything to be perfect. So that's right. You don't want me to to interact with the camera at that point. It's not a very pleasant style on the camera. So that's why I do voiceover, where I film everything in silence, and then when I'm much more relaxed, I'll lay in the voiceover, and that style has worked for me.
Yeah.
I've never shown my face on camera, but I always used to like talk live as I'm like cooking.
Mm-hmm.
But I've done what you've been doing, Sal, and now I do everything voiceover, and it's just a lot more relaxing. I mean, you still got to deal with the cameras, but it's way better than having to keep restarting what you're saying because you stumble on your words or whatever, and you're in a better mood when you're editing. So
I commend people that have got that voiceover stuff down pat. We'll go back to KG Tropicals. He does his videos like that, and he doesn't skip a beat. He is changing when the frame's changing.
Mm-hmm.
It just gets me. Where they you could be that perfect one. I've tried it. For whatever reason, whether it's my system, my equipment, but with DaVinci, which is the editing software, it's very hard to do talkovers.
It doesn't work for everybody, but that's what it is. I think this whole YouTube thing, and just cooking and just life in general, you have to know. A good teacher of mine told me, you have to know your weaknesses, and you have to know your strengths, and you're going to emphasize the strengths and you're going to hide those weaknesses. So if I'm really crappy in front of the camera while I'm cooking, I'm not going to show that. I'm going to hide that. And if I'm really good at just sitting down and, just getting my thoughts ready and doing a voiceover, then I'm going to do that. I'm going to play off my strengths. I'm good at the filming part. I'm good at the editing. So I'm going to like that stuff is going to be up front. It's not going to, that's just the way I treat it. I treat every aspect of my life that way. I hide and I emphasize my strengths. That's what I do.
Yeah. And and part of my problem, it holds me back, and it's not an excuse. It's just my opinion that I've never really been worked with computers.
Mm-hmm.
It was something I just didn't do, until I actually started having children. And my children were telling me taught me how to text and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And next thing I know, I'm texting. I'm still trying to figure out the
Your
emoji.
text. I was going to say, Lance, you still need to work on that. Because sometimes I need some sort of Lance. Someone needs to figure out a Lance translator for your text.
And I say that's because of old school. I mean, it was like you would pick up a phone. It's like, Sal, how you doing, man? Haven't talked to you for a while. What'd you cook last week? Or damn, them ribs look good. Instead of,
Yeah.
you didn't text what you meant to say, or it was mistaken when you said, damn, Sal. I was like, them ribs, and you're thinking to yourself, what, were the ribs no good, or was he thinking the ribs are no good? It's stuff like that. But Norman,
a certain time, I think I was referring to Simon, like to translate them. It's like, oh, he meant this, and I'm like, oh, that makes sense now. Like it makes perfect sense.
I try to go back and look over things, but I'm the first one to admit, even when I go back over stuff and push send, there's still errors. I'm like, damn it.
Oh my God, that's a good thing to like I said, like not many. I told you this, Lance. It's just where if you're baking content or even learning how to cook, there's going to be mistakes. There's if you're starting from zero, then
Right.
there's a huge steep curve that you need to like just conquer.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people, the non-creators that are reading the chat right now, they don't understand that there's a lot. You have to learn how to film. You have to learn how to edit. You have to be good in front of the camera. You have to learn how to do good voiceover. You have to, take a good picture of your food. You need to be able to title the video just right. You need to like come up with all these keywords. You have to. It's just a lot of work. And unless you have experience, then you have to learn everything from scratch. And on top of that, you have to be a good cook, because if you're fumbling around and you don't know what you're doing, that's going to show.
Right.
You're not going to hide that with a clever edit. It's going to be
Right.
out there. So it's hard. It's hard work.
Simon saying, and also when someone sends one word text, I did that to him last night. When the Washington game was over with and they won, they're going to the playoffs, and I was like, I typed nice, and I sent it to him. I figured he was watching the game. He was right there. I mean, it was like seconds at the end of the game. I sent him a text, nice, and he was like, what? I assume you're watching the game. Is what I thought to myself. But
no, but yeah, you got to give you credit, Lance, because not many people will do that after retirement and just learn how to do this YouTube stuff. You started from zero, and you can look back at your old videos. I'm sure they've improved, and there's a lot of improvements still to be made. But that could be said about anybody, even people that've been doing this for longer than you have. There's still areas to improve. It's constant learning. So, there's stuff that that you didn't know back then, and then there's stuff that a lot of people still don't know how to do. And what's up, Simon?
Hey.
And then there's things that are people that are younger than you that don't know the things that you know how to do. So
Right.
you got to keep that in mind. It's all
I don't even know how you learned how to use DaVinci. I downloaded
yeah.
that because I wanted to take up my editing skills. I'm still using iMovie, which is like super simple, doesn't have really any capabilities. And I
Yeah.
downloaded that, and I'm like, nope, there's no way. I don't have time to learn how to use that.
Yeah,
Stick.
that in itself is impressive. You literally just took one of the hardest pieces of software and you learn how to get a video out of there. So
Yeah. Well, the good thing about DaVinci is that so Taco is that there's a lot of videos on YouTube
yeah,
about DaVinci. And that's probably for that reason. There's so much people asking for help, but but
but I mean, who
I
wants
guess
to? Unless you're really into this stuff, I mean, who wants to sit through a long video, boring video explaining how to use Resolve computer? Very few of us have that patience, No one's gonna sit through that.
It's funny though. There's some really, really big channels who are still filming on iPhones and using iMovie, and then there's
Yeah,
some that are, obviously a lot better that
yeah.
use DaVinci and use Final Cut Pro and stuff like that. But
go
I
ahead.
think it's really it's all about the content. I don't think.
That's what it is. Like it really is. That's the number one thing. Don't worry about what others are doing. Just concentrate on your strength. If you're really good, if you're a really good cook, then show that
Right.
because we're going to be learning from you on that very
Simon,
fact.
Simon,
Yeah.
you have something to say?
What?
Were you holding up your finger like I have something to say? Did
You're
you
like,
do this like 1 minute, like you had something to say or something?
No.
Okay.
I'll try to do one of these.
What would Taco? He sort of growl at or something?
Oh, because my nephew walked out of his room and he heard that.
Okay.
So every time he hears a noise and the door's closed, my door's closed, he starts to growl and bark.
That's good. That's
Also,
good.
when my camera activates and beeps my phone, he starts running to the front door.
I was watching some movie today with my daughter, and the little Chihuahua's name was Burrito. So
there you go.
You-
Burrito.
That's
yeah,
what my nurse calls him. He calls him Burrito. Uh-oh. How did I go back? If I drop, I'll come right back. There you go.
I didn't hear what he said. Uh-oh.
He's going to come back. He's
Okay.
going to try. He's going to try something. He might drop off.
Yeah, he's laying down. He's on a hospital bed.
Where are? Oh, I don't have access to my studio, huh?
If you're on your phone, probably not.
I mean, I'll get on here for the live, and I can like move stuff around, like the logos and stuff, the background.
Right.
But apparently not now.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows?
Did you hear earlier, Simon, when I said I was watching this live this morning, and this lady, she was using something called eStream?
No, I didn't. No, I've been in and out of the room because my mom.
Okay. It looked pretty, from what I was watching her do. I mean, it looked very similar to StreamYard. And she's a young family. I think she only had 240 some subs. So, I mean, she might be paying for it, but I'm going to assume, that it could be free.
Yeah, it seems it's free. Checking it out right now.
Okay.
The live on the TV and on here on the phone, it's like very, very different.
That was all right.
I have the sound now, so I mean, I can sound from the phone, but I'll see it on the TV.
I don't know why, but I can hear your TV better than you, Simon.
I can hear someone's TV.
Mine's off.
It's probably mine. Annie, TV's on. We could all hear the TV. Yeah, you can give Lance a strike in his account.
Sorry. Is this good?
I was going with it. I was going with the flow.
Can they still hear it?
No, they can't hear
I was blaming Simon.
it.
Wait, so it was all live?
Hey, Simon, take 2 of these. You'll feel better in the morning.
So I don't know if I can't remember if I showed you all this, but
How'd you
this is one of my new aquarium world ventures. That's one of the items that go into some of these tanks. It's called freshwater shrimp.
Oh, that's cool.
That's how it's bred. It's bred like that to have multicolors, or they're all red, they're blue, they're orange, or they're white and black. But that's called a crystal freshwater shrimp.
That's cool.
Oh, I see you're making jizz towels for the aquarium folks now instead of us.
I made 2. I thought, if I could maybe put it in the background or something during my first tank assembly or something, and see if I get any biters on it.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I wanted to see. I'm sorry, Simon. What do you say?
You need to put Sleeper Hobbies on there.
Super hobbies, yeah.
I'm also like very delayed. I just see you put up the towel again.
That's all right.
Yeah.
No,
Cut has banned along with TikTok. Oh,
so
really?
the TikTok ban was an interesting one. I'm a big TikTok fan now, and I really thought I've been busy all day yesterday, so my whole plan before it went offline, I was gonna scroll through it until it got banned and I wasn't able to access it. But I think it was around 6 o'clock, it got the prompt saying, "Hey, this app is gone." And then this morning, my cousin texted me. He's like, "Hey, it's back up."
Yeah.
And I checked, and it was. But the ban included because ByteDance makes CapCut. It makes a couple of apps, Lemonade and TikTok. So all of those were affected by it. And now that the ban was lifted, TikTok came back, but then people are reporting that CapCut is still not accessible.
Well, the thing is with CapCut, CapCut or TikTok, if you delete any of those apps, they're not available in the App Store anymore.
Yeah, and that was the second issue because my sister-in-law's boyfriend told me, because I told him, "Hey, TikTok's back," and he's like, "Oh, I can't go on it because I deleted the app last night, and it's not available in any of the app stores." So they're kind of, if you deleted your app last night, you can't go on. So you have to wait until the app store is able to give you that download.
Yeah.
Wasn't there something about Trump was going to give it a 90-day?
Yeah. That was the
90
reason it came back up. He gave it 90 days to see what could be done. At that point, I think it's going to stay.
Well, like Meta bought out TikTok because you can link your Facebook and your TikTok now together. And your Instagram.
I like to know what that dollar amount was. I saw that guy from Shark Tank. I don't know his name.
Kevin O'Leary.
Kevin O'Leary offered $22 billion in cash.
Yeah. But they say it's worth a lot more than that.
Yeah,
$22 billion in cash. Come on, man! I don't care what it's worth.
Yeah.
They made over $12 billion. The company did over $12 billion.
I don't know if you guys could see that, but that's a prompt that you get.
Can't see it because of your blurring effect you
Let
have.
me see if I could. Yeah, let me turn that off right quick. Virtual background, none.
Oh shit! What are all those naked dudes behind you?
That's why I was blurring out the screen. But yeah, I just logged into my off my personal account. I went into my creator account on there, and that's what I was greeted with. But it's yeah,
That's because
Yeah.
Apple's a Chinese spy. That's why it is.
Well, he posted a video though that he was halfway through something about his 250-gallon and it shut down on him. He was all pissed off. But
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
guess-
because he CapCut for his videos. Actually, he was trying to edit on TikTok,
yeah,
and TikTok said nope.
yeah. The thing that was bothering me today in the morning, after before it went back live, thing was bothering me is what happened to all my videos? Did it just get deleted, or is TikTok just still promoting it? All the videos that I got uploaded. That's what I was wondering, like in the morning.
making
is it
money
just-
off of it.
That's what I was saying. Like if I would have known, then I would have just removed them. Hopefully
Right.
if they do go through the process of banning it, like that's what they should do. Is if hey, you don't want Americans on your platform or whatever, then you should delete their channels. You shouldn't have any of that content up there. In my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question though. So everybody that has, their content up there,
Yeah.
what happens to that content? You just SOL? Are they, required to send it back? Or
Yeah, that was the question that I had in the morning, because it's, if you're making money off of it, that's one thing, but then, if I were to log in from another country, will I have access to it? Are people still allowed to leave comments? So all of these videos are just people leaving comments without no responses. That obviously hurts your brand. There's just a bunch of questions I had, but it's back, so I guess it doesn't matter.
well, I guess and the other thing is, I don't understand. Okay. The other thing is I don't understand. So if I understand correctly, the YPN addresses, how do they know if you're in the country or not?
VPN.
VPN, yeah.
Yeah, I don't. So there was this there's this Facebook group that I belong to, and people were saying that some people were able to go through a VPN and log in to their TikTok account, while others said that they weren't, because that account was originally created in the US, so that was their way of blocking people. But again, those are all things that I don't have the full information, but I mean, it makes sense, right? Because I could easily just get a VPN and just bypass that law, because I could be tricking TikTok into thinking that I'm logging in from Canada or from
Right.
Mexico. And, I'm sure a lot of people have tried doing that, but I don't know how they block that. My guess is that that's how they conquer that was, well, if your account was created in the US, then we have to ban that too. Like you can't log in from another country because you're an American.
Right.
But
Just because of that. Oh, I mean, I don't know anything about. I mean, what I know about him, I've heard Clint talk about it. So what I picked up is just
yeah.
basic understanding of VPNs and
Yeah, I'm just curious, anybody in the chat that did that, like if they, as of last night when it was banned, did you try a VPN and were you able to successfully log into your account and scroll through TikTok? That's something that's worth looking into, because I didn't look into it enough to kind of find out.
yeah.
But
I had some YouTubers that I subscribed to say they were going over to Red Note,
yeah,
which is another even more Chinese app.
it's
I'm like,
even worse app.
What is the
it's
fascination with Chinese apps? Is it because it's easier to make money? What's the deal?
It was a way to give like the old Guggen double flip off to the government. Was, hey, you're gonna ban TikTok because our private stuff is being leaked. Well, here I'm gonna join a Chinese company and in full on 100% Chinese company, and then here I'm gonna give all my information to them, let them spy on me. So
I
that
gotta
was
let-
their way of like kind of saying like a big screw you to the government.
I
Because
gotta let
that
the
app-
dog out. I'll be right back. I got the dog out because he's over here. When he's here looking at me, it's time to go pee.
Yeah, because that app is I didn't I didn't install it or anything, but I just from what I saw it was completely in Mandarin, so you wouldn't be able to understand it. You log in there, you don't know what's going on, you can't really read any of the instructions to figure out how to post, but then they caught wind of that, and then Chinese people started posting tutorials like in English on how to navigate the app. So it was just interesting that people would go through all of that just to bypass the whole TikTok thing. But
I hear you. All right, can you guys hear me? It's funny because Lance and Sal say I'm way too loud, and you guys say you can't hear me.
now you're low, Guggen. Now you are way lower.
Yeah, this mic is broken.
Yeah.
I gotta get a new one. Let me try plugging in my other mic real quick.
Yeah, before Guggen's mic was really, really loud compared to ours, and it was a little over modulated, so his voice would peak. So he kind of distanced the mic away from him, and that sounded better. But now that he got the mic closer to him, it sounds really low. Yeah, welcome to the SJ show. Let's talk kettle grilling. I want to cook something new this year that I've never cooked before. That's one of my things that I want to do this year is cook something I've never cooked before. And my go-to is fish, because I really, other than shrimp and salmon, I don't cook a lot of fish. So what's something I should try?
You guys hear me okay now?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I got rid of this other mic.
Yeah, much better.
But anyway, what kind of fish you should cook?
Yeah, because that's the first thing I think about, because I don't really have that much experience cooking fish, and other than salmon and shrimp, that's really the only thing that I know that I have videos on.
I think
It
it
has to
depends
be-
on what you have fresh local to you. That's what I would focus on.
Oh, that's a good idea. So just
Um,
kind of see whatever I got locally, easily accessible, something that's fresh.
That's what I do. Yeah,
Kick up
down.
a
down-
fish market,
That's what I would try to do. Down here we've got like redfish, which is really good, and a lot of other fish that are local to the Gulf.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But you're in California, so I'm sure you got like a really good variety of fish at your disposal.
And like I said, the learning curve is going to be very great because I'm not experienced. I don't even cook it in the house, so it's going to be something where I'm learning and figure out how to do it, and then just figuring out what kind of fish to get. That in itself, it's
Mhm.
going to be a learning thing. But that's a good suggestion, I think.
Well, I timed that perfectly.
But then
You do it.
there's welcome back, Lance.
Yeah. When he's up here right beside me, he's looking right at me. It's like, we better go, dude. I don't know how much longer I can hold this. Had headphones on. Oh, it's how Guggen's volume.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
mic broke, and I don't know why. It's the same mic that Smoking Joe uses, but
right?
it randomly just started like changing the mic volume on me, and it's too bad. So I'm gonna send it in for warranty.
Send it for warranty. They're probably going to ask you to update the firmware. They're going to go through all of that stuff, you know.
Speaking of updating the firmware, did y'all see Tom Horseman's video?
I did. I did.
He,
Oh
he
my God.
was he was is that the A Smoke?
Yeah.
Mhm.
He was talking bad about it or something. Is that what it
He
was?
was according to him, he was offered $100 to yank his video down.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm glad he did that though, because if companies are going to do that, you need to call them out.
Yeah. I
I
see
think
Chris.
I
Chris
didn't.
Simon did change his avatar.
I didn't watch his first video, but he said he only briefly talked about some of the things he didn't like about it or things that weren't working, and then they came back were like, you need to get rid of it. So then he was like full on, this is everything that's wrong with it.
Yeah.
Right. Right. No, I agree with what he said. He says, my reviews are honest. I mean,
Yeah.
and what he did point out, I mean, I felt like, it should be known that little flap that cuts off. I mean, that was about the most Mickey Mouse thing I've ever seen. I mean, that was poor engineering. That simply, if that piece of metal was just wider, it would have solved the problem. And then that grate in the fire pot, I didn't understand that either. I mean, he was down there digging and digging, trying to get this grate out, and he finally gets it out. And of course, his hands and knuckles and all that are black. But
Well, that's what we need to be doing as content creators, though. Even if we get sent something for free,
Yes,
like I was
absolutely.
I was talking about that meat probe. They sent me one a couple years ago. It sucks,
Yeah.
so I'm not going to promote that.
Yeah.
And I feel like some of these videos on the new Traeger, some of them are a little bit too biased to promoting how good it is. Whereas if you watch Steve Gow's video, I think it's Smoking Trails Barbecue, he's a little bit more honest.
Yeah.
And that I think that's how you need to be. That's why I started doing content creation, because I was tired of the BS of pushing a product,
Right.
just getting paid.
This happens like this. There's this. I follow a lot of these like camera digital channels. They're like reviewing products and stuff like that. I follow those, and there was a big thing. I forget what camera it was. It was one of those little, like the GoPro kind of things. I forget which brand it was, but anyways, there was a big deal about it in that community because someone posted. Everybody was talking about how great it was, except for one creator. They're like, "No, this thing's shit," and it turned into where like they banned them from like attending this like these camera events that they were inviting everyone else that spoke highly of it, except for this one creator because he spoke the truth. And so this happens in a lot of communities, and I'm with you 100%, Guggen, where you have to, if a product is bad, it doesn't matter if send you the product for free or they paid you or whatever, you have to speak the truth. And as a content creator, I think I'm more along the lines, if there's a problem with the product, I won't release it, but I will let them know, like, hey, I'm not releasing this video because these are like there's issues here that you need to address. Like that's why I'm not posting the video. I'm not going to post that it's great because it's not.
And with today's prices, people work hard, and save up monies and what have you. And I mean, I don't know what that little grill is. As bad as I want a little tabletop pellets, I've wanted one of them for years, but I just don't like paying for stuff like that. But all right, Bat. But and to spend some extra money that you had sitting around on that tabletop pellet smoker, and because you followed someone's review, and then they get it home, it's like, God, man, what is he talking about? I don't cook with these stuff daily, do reviews weekly or monthly like he does, and these things are clearly wrong.
So it's I'm glad he did that, and it kind of a reset button because he has a large enough channel where that could enough of us will know, like, okay, now we're being skeptical of anybody else that's promoting that product. We're like, well, is this channel. Then that's the first thing I'm going to do probably tomorrow is watch that review and then see what other creators are saying about it. Are they running into the same problems? Are they kind of talking around it like that? I'm going to be critical there.
Yeah, Smoking Joe did reply into it, and he was talking about how he didn't really have the issues, but I think it was something Joe was saying, but he doesn't really use that. The biggest thing is the cutoff. So if you want to take the pellet pot off the smoker for transportation, you should be able to slide this plate in there and close the hopper off before you remove it. Well, I think if I remember correctly, don't quote me, go watch the video and look up for it for yourself. But I think Joe admitted to the fact that it's on his boat now, his fishing boat, pontoon boat, and he has no plans on taking it and moving around from place to place. So that really wouldn't be an issue for him. But if it's a feature, it should work.
It's a portable grill designed to remove the hopper. You got to have it work.
Yeah.
Right.
And that okay, so just say that Tom Horseman received the bad unit, right? Let's just assume that like everybody else's system is completely fine, it's just his wasn't. But they're not offering $100 to take it down. That's the part where you're like, whoa, okay.
I think that's why he
admitting to guilt at that point.
That's why he made the video, I think.
Yeah. And then the other part was that he was said it was a firmware update, and he kept trying to do a firmware update, and all of a sudden it worked, and then the grill shot over by 80 some degrees.
Yeah.
And then I think he did another firmware update or something, and then I think the grill only overshot by 20 degrees, but then his video just went blank.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was weird. I was thinking, like, what the hell just happened? Did Ace Smoke's lawyer just call Tom Horseman?
Like it just zapped the system.
What just happened? What just happened here?
It's a tiny little smoker, like the size of a suitcase, small carry-on suitcase. So I would be okay if it overshot initially, even 80 degrees, but then it came back down and then it stabilized. So I think some more testing needs to be done because, he cut the video off and didn't update what happened after it went to 320 after it came back down. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, leads me to believe is it starting to climb back up again? Because it was some time. That thing had to drop 80 degrees before that fan motor came back on. That's a wait.
Yeah. But it's tiny. It's got to be hard for that controller to maintain temps in that tiny little cook chamber.
Yeah.
So I would love to see some more. I'm not interested. I don't really do portable cooks, but I'd still be interested to see like a full, at least part 2 of that video to see what's going on.
Yeah. I'm also. I don't know if it could be. That's the one that I think was Russ did a review on that. I think it has. Isn't that the one that runs off a battery pack too? I think it is. It has a battery pack that runs that thing. So. I'd like to see it work. I think that's great.
The whole thing's kind of crazy to me, though. It's got a little, basically iPhone built into it and all this technology. I'm like, just get you a little Weber Smoky Jr. or whatever the tiny Weber is and put a little bit of charcoal in it, cook your burgers, and then you're done. Like, why do we need all this technology? It's like they're pushing it in cars and everything. It's like we don't need all this stuff.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's like I said earlier in the chat. It's like having a Cadillac. All these little gadgets and add-ons and all that. It's just more things that can go wrong, and it's more things that's going to cost you money.
That's going to be my, perhaps it's going to be my phase 2 of my channel of, like, hey, you got to be careful about, like just not just the barbecue community, just any genre, is you have to be careful about what's being promoted out there, and that's the reason too that I haven't released my SNS master kettle review video, because I wanted to cook on it for at least 6 months nonstop, because I think those are more valuable, to be honest with you, because you get a new grill, it's going to work great, and then you post the review and it is what it is. But then, like, what happens 6 months later, or a year, or 2 years? I kind of want to know how that thing holds up. That to me is more interesting.
With Russ making his statement here, I mean, it might be Tom just got a funky one. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, he couldn't even get started up. At first, remember correctly, it wouldn't even fire up.
Yeah, and let's assume that that's the case, that he got a faulty one. But the offering of $100, that's the part. Like, we have to, like, just,
right.
I hate to just keep bringing that up, but that to me is a bigger deal. Like, right. We get faulty units all the time. We get, depending on the company, they'll send a replacement. It works perfectly. Good companies, that's what they're going to do. They're going to make it right. But paying you $100 to take it down, that's the shady part.
80 degrees. I think that's rather large.
I don't think so. If it's initial startup,
if it's fire is one thing, but he was already mentioning how the pot just kept filling with pellets, kept filling and filling and filling, and that brought it to his attention right away. It's like, this is not good.
Yeah, they may need to adjust the app a little bit, the firmware a little bit, but
it could be a firmware thing where there's a way to control that. We don't know.
Yeah,
man,
it's a cool little smoker. I think the portable thing is awesome. It's like that one that what's it? Rick has. You can plug it into your cigarette lighter, and it runs off the cigarette lighter. It's at GMGs.
Yeah,
I think that's a pretty cool feature. So to be able to go, I think so too, Russ. That's a possibility. You just got a lemon, but
but if that's the case, I have to go back. If that is the case, he got a lemon, the company would offer him a replacement. But again, we're just assuming maybe they did, and he was more harder to work. We don't know what that conversation was. It could have been like, I don't want a replacement. And, a replacement could have been offered. We don't know that backstory, but just we know as much as what he's letting us know. So, Ace Smoke is more than welcome to, address that, or it's like, hey, this conversation was, we offered a replacement, and it was faulty. He refused it. That could be there's always two stories for
two sides to every story.
So like we don't know. So
and I think Tom would come back with that. I mean, as he sort of kind of did last night. He would come back and say, look, it was a lemon. This thing is working perfectly now.
Man, I bought that new ThermalWorks RFX, which is their wireless probe.
Yeah.
And I've been testing that for the last few months. I was planning on making a bunch of videos, but I kept having all these issues with it. And that company, you get on the phone with like a person here in the United States, they're like, no, this is not working properly. Like they could even like see my cooks from the app, and they're like, yeah, it's not working correctly. The battery kept dying after like an hour, and they claimed like 36-hour battery life. So anyway, they sent me a new one out within like a few days. It was pretty awesome. So ThermalWorks is an awesome company to work with. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, and I paid for that one, so you don't have to think I'm lying.
Yeah, and the fact that you call and you talk to a live person, and then they work themselves out. That to me is just that's what good customer service is. A lot of these companies, you call them and you're on the hold forever, and they make you do all these weird things where you're like, what am I doing?
Customer service, man, these days, if you can find it, I tell the world, and I've got one coming up in a video called F-Zone. So one of the parts of, these aquariums, I'm going to inject the aquarium with CO2. So the oxygen, helps the plants, helps the fish, but you can get more vigorous growth in underwater plants. You can get more color out of them. Well, I got ripped off on a secondhand purchase for one of their regulators. One of their regulators for their CO2 systems. And I contacted F-Zone to, obtain parts, and they're actually stepping in and sending me everything that I need. They said, you bought this thing secondhand, so it's not really even one of our retailers, our distributors, but we're going to stand behind it, and they're going to send me all the parts I need to get that thing going again. So I said, that's great.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. I always tell, like, Weber is also one of those companies that really, first of all, their warranty has been amazing. A lot of people haven't had to deal with a warranty, but they will replace parts, and that leads to people taking advantage of that, right? Like, people buy Facebook Marketplace grills. They realize that it hasn't been, it's still under the 10-year warranty. They realize that people never registered to it, so they're replacing full-on lids because there's little mark on them, or so people are taking advantage of that. But it's still, they make things right for the customer. One of the few barbecue companies that I have to deal with as far as customer service, and they're always on. It's just very generous. So yes, you could go out and buy a cheap knockoff grill that you buy at your local grocery that's no brand, but anything goes wrong with that grill, you're not going to get a replacement for it. And that's why you pay a little extra for a Weber grill, and you're covered for 10 years. For most of the things that will happen to your grill, they cover you. Any warping, anything crazy like that, they will cover you.
Sal, I don't know how, and Guggen both, I don't know how long y'all had thought you'd be on here, but we're actually, I'm trying to cut the lives back. I mean, I enjoy the lives, but those 4-hour, 5-hour lives got old after a while, but we're pushing, I'm actually 2 hours and 2.5 hours now. So
I think that's a good time, Lance. I got to prep up dinner. I jump off too. I just thank you for reminding me, because I was only planning here to be 2 hours, but now we're 2.5. So yeah,
it's only 3 or 6:30 where you're at. So
yeah. So it's a good time to start up dinner and get some stuff done for my work day tomorrow. So it'd be a good time for me to step
I appreciate you stepping in, and you go. That question was already earlier.
That was a very early question there, Panchuco.
Run through. Sorry about that, Chris.
He got a couple of us on a deal over at his local Home Depot. He
two for one. I'm not sure if the other guy's Mexican or not, but he was part of the 2-for-1 deal.
Guggen just happened to be hanging out with me that day. It's like, oh, take you two.
I was just there buying something.
Yeah. He just wanted to.
Oh, man.
He was on the phone with ThermoWorks trying to get his thermometer replaced, and all of a sudden we're both on that truck.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but I appreciate y'all stepping in and filling the void. It's always great to have someone that you can talk to. I mean, because you can't always, I can't, sit there and always think about the next question or topic before I finish the one previous to it. So it's great having other people that are doing that for you. So I do appreciate it. Chat, once again, I do appreciate all y'all coming in. I'm not sure what's going on with Simon's lives.
We just got to give him a little break for him to, worry about his health, and he'll be back. I mean, he's giving no indication that he won't be back. He'll be back. He'll be strong and good health. That's what we hope for.
Right. All right, man. We don't usually hold on to how that is. What should it be like? But I appreciate y'all, Guggen. Appreciate your congrats again on the baby, man. You know how hard it's been, because I found out this news a few days ago, and I was like, God, man, how do you keep a secret like that? It's something you just want celebrate. And
I'm trying not to think about it.
I done good. I didn't say anything. That's when I saw you said something earlier. I had to highlight that
Yeah.
said, and I was like, shoot.
Yeah, if you think my barbecue channel has gone downhill, well, just wait for number 2.
Thanks again. You're welcome, NBL. So we will see y'all when we're looking at you, I guess, or seeing you type in the chat, whatever you want to say, but we appreciate it. We'll catch you next time. Look, Quint comes in there. Quentin with the $25.
Quick little fast one there, huh?
Yeah. Quentin, thank you, brother. Appreciate that. You're very
All right.
welcome, Chris. Thank you for being here. And Quentin, thanks again, buddy. Appreciate that.
All right.
We will see y'all later.
Yep. See you guys. Thanks.
Yeah. Bye.
Yep. In stream.